We condemn CPA's decision to rescind our invitation to Westminster seminar. The decision was based on unfounded accusation and was a blatant slander on our enhanced political system. So, in response to CPA's unfair comments and decision, Hong Kong United Foundation, together with the China Retold, decided to organize our own seminar on Hong Kong legislature. In my view, the decision made by the CPA was like a child play. The accusations about deteriorating situation are simply unfounded. It is part of the anti-China rhetoric adopted by Western politicians in recent years and are intended to discredit our enhanced political system adopted since 2021.
Universal suffrage and direct election to the Legislative Council was initiated only in 1991, 149 years after the British had ruled Hong Kong, and 6 years before they handed Hong Kong back to China. But even then, only some of the seats were so elected. It is extreme irony for this UK parliamentary group to showcase the so-called effective parliament. It is worldwide consensus that the British political system, and not just its parliament, is totally ineffective and dysfunctional. Hong Kong has done better, a lot better, than the UK since it became a Chinese special administrative region in 1997. The Hong Kong Legislative Council is not a parliament. It never was. Democracy in Hong Kong is therefore not a sovereign democracy, where the people have the ultimate powers. What Hong Kong has is a local democracy. All local democracies, such as those in London, New York, or Tokyo, can only produce local authorities with very limited powers. If anyone intends to regurgitate the allegation that China has breached the Joint Declaration, they will have to be factual and specific.
The ultimate aim is the election of all members of the Legislative Council by universal suffrage. So universal suffrage has got nothing to do with the British government or the Joint Declaration. The legislature under the Basic Law is far more powerful and democratic than under the British rule. And we have universal suffrage. We can impeach the chief executive. We have checks and balance in respect of the laws or the budget that's being put forth by the executive, and all the members of the legislature is constituted by election, meaning that the chief executive has no control over them, and they can serve Hong Kong and the people who elected them.
After the enactment of the National Security Law, in early 2021, when the central authorities decided to overhaul our system to permit more rational and balanced participation, to provide more wide-ranging representation in the legislature. Since then, what happened? No more filibuster, no more physical violence in LegCo, no more throwing of bananas or glasses or snatching of papers from the officials. Our Legislative Council has now returned to order, rationality, and functionality, which is very good for the future of Hong Kong.
First, professionalism. Following the electoral reform, we are seeing outstanding and visionary professionals in their respective fields with a wealth of experiences to bring to the LegCo. Second, patriotism. The LegCo is now filled with legislative councillors full of passion and ability who truly perform the functions of the LegCo so that Hong Kong could stay true to the original design of one country, two systems. Finally, productivity or effectiveness. With no more filibustering, the LegCo has since focused its time and efforts in performing the legislative and other functions under the Basic Law.
With their falsehoods plus their groundless accusations against one country, two systems, Such an action is widely believed as part of their campaign orchestrated to smear Hong Kong and the central government. For those with an hidden aim to suppress China, their blatant smearing actions bear fruit. But the truth always lies in figures and statistics. Take GDP per capita as an example. In 1997, it was 27,000 US dollars. But in 2021, it was over 49,000 US dollars. So it's almost doubled that of over 25 years ago.
It is blatantly obvious that the withdrawal of the global seminar invitation had nothing to do with the situation in Hong Kong. It is about the UK attempting to exert control over a region it no longer rules. This situation represents a gross abuse of authority and runs counter to all that parliamentary democracy stands for. Politicians in the US and the UK are growing more cautious as China continues to consolidate its position as an economic and military giant. When the West is unable to compete with China, it resorts to petty politics and exclusionary tactics. This is incredibly disappointing.
As a female and the youngest member of the Legislative Council, I can rightly say I'm one of the best spokespersons when it comes to commenting on the plurality and the precipitation of LegCo. The wider implication is that after the improvement in the electoral system, we can see a more diverse representation and an increase in youth participation in the establishment. The improvement in the electoral system has helped Hong Kong out of the pan-politicization quagmire, putting the legislature back on track.